Hey guys, it's Jake from Epitome. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up what's going on at our end. As you all know, we're stuck inside in Ontario, and it's made it increasingly hard to shoot more YouTube videos. But I want you guys to know we're working very hard to bring you more content. I want to say thank you for being with us along the way and continuing to support us. Please like and subscribe below to know when the next videos are coming out. We'll keep you up to date. Thank you, and without further ado, here's the next video. Alright, Wolf, how's it going?
Not bad. I feel like I should introduce myself here though. I'm Wilfred, I'm 22 years old, I'm based out of Waterloo, Ontario, and I'm a co-founder of Epitome Athletics. I guess my story starts in grade 11. I was part of the basketball team, SBB as we called it, represent, and we did not win many games that season. I think we won the singular game. I was playing my 3 quarters at that time, and as the time was winding down, I go up for a layup. I think the score was something abysmal. It was like 32-31 or something, and they were in the lead. I went up for the layup, I made it, but I didn't know where I was landing. I landed on one of my friends, because we're all from the same town. I landed on his foot, and I came down and I heard a crack. And that was my knee. There goes my knee. And of course it's, I think December, probably about this time now, December 12th-ish. And so it's icy, it's snowing outside, and after the game, my coach comes up to me and he says, like, do you need a ride home? Because I'm limping, I can't move my knee. I go, no, I'm fine. Like, I don't need a ride home. And my coach says, no, I'm gonna give you a ride home. You can't walk. So I go home, and the next day I'm like, well, I'll see how it's feeling, if it's feeling better. It wasn't. It swelled up to about the size of a grapefruit, and like a large grapefruit. And so I went to the hospital, go get it checked out. I get to the hospital and we get some x-rays done. We get a quick evaluation. The doctor touches my knee. And the doctor says, oh, it's just an MCL sprain. You should be good to go back on the court in 2 weeks. It's an okay sprain, like it's not great, but here's some crutches, here's a leg brace, you'll figure it out. I said, okay, sure, 2 weeks from now, it's gonna be Christmas break. I plan on being back in the season after the break. After the break comes around, I was not feeling up for it, but student athlete in me said, yeah, you gotta be back on the court, you can't let the team down. So I went back on the court, and I think within the first 5 seconds, I was running down the court and I just fell. My leg just collapsed. That was it. This happened, I went to the doctors again, but this happened another couple times, just on random, experiences. And I get back to the doctors and they say, yeah, I don't know who your initial doctor was, but you've torn your ACL and meniscus and your MCL. Like, that's all gone. I said, well, that's a little worse than just an MCL sprain. So, of course I was a little heartbroken. My season was ended. They said, yeah, we'll recommend physiotherapy. I was doing physiotherapy for about 2 years and realized it wasn't working. There was nothing going on. So they said, yeah, let's get surgery. Said, okay, let's go get surgery. I think it was in grade 12 at this point, just towards the end of grade 12. I got surgery in the summer, expecting to be back before the season starts. Unfortunately, I didn't get back in time for the season. I ended up coaching instead, and that was my last year in high school. That was the end of my basketball career. In my 13th year, this is my second story. I got really sick. I still remember the day. It was the day of the physics exam, which is strange. I'm a physics major now, but it was the day of the physics exam. I wake up and I had been feeling like kind of sick, not like terrible, but you know, you get like a tension in the back of your head, like on your neck, you know. I don't know if you guys get that, like when you get a cold or something, but I had that, and I remember my mom made Western omelets, and so I was eating that, but I wasn't really hungry. And I'm getting up, and as I'm getting ready to go to school, like I'm putting on my jacket, I'm, you know, putting on my shoes, and I walk out the door, and I'm like, wow, I don't feel good. I felt so nauseous, it was unbelievable. I lived 5 minutes by walking away from the school, not even. It took me 45 minutes to get there because every 20 seconds I'd lean over into the snowbank and want to throw up. It was unreal. I've never experienced something like that in my life. I don't want anybody else to experience that. But I got to school, and I remember walking into the secretary's office, and I go, I don't think I can write the exam today. And she goes, yeah, you're looking a bit pale. I was like, yeah, I am. I'm feeling a bit pale. I walked up to the classroom where they were hosting the exam, and the teacher, I didn't even see the teacher actually. I walked right by it and walked straight into the bathroom and sat there for, it must have been an hour and a half. People were done the exam by the time I was even like almost relatively ready to write it. I walked out of the school and I walked as fast as I could back home, which was still another 25 minutes. And I got home and then I laid in bed for a week and I didn't eat anything. And I know some people say that like, oh, I didn't eat anything, and like they had like chicken noodle soup or whatever, right? No, I didn't eat anything for a whole week. I wasn't hungry, I couldn't stand up. It was awful. I was in the nurse's office, which had a bathroom attached to it, luckily. And I was taking my periodic breaks to just look at the toilet and go, I'm gonna hurl. And then go, no, I'm not gonna hurl. And I go back to the desk and I write some more exam. And then I go back to the toilet, go, I'm gonna hurl. I'm not gonna hurl. I end up writing it, I get a good mark, and everything's fine. Except I was still feeling like absolute garbage. I don't know why, I couldn't explain it. And this carried on for the next 8 months. Over the next 8 months, I had lost, not even over the next 8 months, within the next 2 weeks, I lost 60 pounds. I went from 210 to 150 pounds. I was skin and bones. I didn't eat anything. I couldn't stand up. It felt like every time I stood up, I can still like feel it. My heart would start beating like really hard, and I would just like get nauseous, like super nauseous. And I went to the doctor's office, or I went to emergency or whatever, and they would just tell me, yeah, you're fine. Like there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing, I know something's wrong with me. I'm sick. Like, that happened, I think, 4 times before I just stopped going. Check. I think that happened, I think, 4 times. And they said, well, you're a little dehydrated, but I mean, drink a little bit of water and you'll be fine. So I drank a little bit of water and I was still not fine. I couldn't go to school. I think I went to school every class. Classes were about an hour and 10 minutes long. I think I went to every class for 15 minutes and then when I have to go home. I can't stay here. And I started I think the only thing I ate within the next 6 months were tortilla chips. As funny as that sounds, because it's dry, it's salty, like it's a little bit tasty. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like it was something dry to eat. I couldn't even eat what are those called? Saltines. I visited a naturopath because there was like nothing left for me in medical science. Like I went to a specialist and they were like, yeah, you're fine. Like there's nothing wrong with you. I went to like a gastroenterologist. No, you're good. So I went to a naturopath. And the naturopath right off the bat just said, are you stressed out? I'm like, I don't think so. Like I'm mostly, I get good grades. I'm going to a university, I don't know what one next year, but I'm going to one. And she goes, okay, but these are all symptoms of like you being stressed out. She goes, are you having panic attacks? I'm like, I don't even know what a panic attack is. She goes, do you wake up in the middle of the night cold sweats? Yeah. Do you feel like your heart's racing and like you need to get somewhere, you need to do something? Yeah, that's every time I stand up. And so like, I was like, I guess I do get panic attacks. And like I get them every time I stand up. And so she goes, yeah, you're like incredibly stressed out. And what's probably not helping is you probably have some food intolerances that you're running into. So, okay, how do I figure that out? So she gives me a test. It was a blood test. And she lets me, I go get it done or whatever, and the results come back. And it's like, yeah, you're intolerant to pretty much every food. So now I can't eat any dairy, I can't eat eggs, I can't eat potatoes, I can't eat wheat, so any kind of wheat bread, whatnot. I couldn't eat soy sauce for the longest time, I can't eat rice. My entire diet went from no allergies whatsoever to meat, veggies, and fruit. That was it. That's it now. I just ended up not being able to work. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't do any of the fun things I liked. I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't go work out. I couldn't, any of that stuff, right? And even if I could do that stuff, it was like, I was 150 pounds. I realize that doesn't, I don't know, there's no reference here, but I'm 6'5". I shouldn't be 150 pounds. I was skin and bones. So obviously that offset my fitness career. Anyways, the biggest thing for me was like, I couldn't get out of bed. I was, lack of a better term, I was trapped in bed. The only bright spot of my day was being able to go to, this is gonna sound so dumb, being able to go to like calculus, like pre-calc, and sit for 20 minutes with my friends before I would just get too sick and have to go home. And that happened for an entire semester of school. It was 5 months. But yeah, like my naturopath just said, you take stress out on yourself. Your body stresses out, but your brain doesn't. And so it may not make any sense to you right now because you're like, yeah, I'm fine. Like mentally, I'm healthy. But in reality, like your body still feels it. You need some way to turn off that switch that says, I'm what you think you're healthy, like whether you think you're healthy or not, and versus whether your body thinks you're healthy or not mentally, it's two different things. At least for me anyways, this is my experience. And so my way of overcoming this was I needed to put stressors on my body to almost push myself, almost have to get myself out there. So things that help with that were, doing things that you're uncomfortable with, right? Public speaking, for me, not a huge fan. One of the biggest things at that time was walking across the stage in graduation. I couldn't walk normally. Like, I was still dealing with my knee injury. I was choosing a school to go to that, is 9 hours away. I was moving away from home. All sorts of things, right? So lots of stress in everyone's lives, but the way I found I had to deal with it was you just have to do it. You just have to have that experience under your belt, and it makes every other experience after that more accessible to your brain. So like going into university, moving 9 hours away, wasn't fun, but you still had to go to class, right? School's gonna kick your ass if you don't. I don't know if I can say ass. But that's what you had to do. I still remember my first midterm. I remember sitting outside in a rock garden in my school and going, I don't know if I can write this midterm. I feel so sick to my stomach. Like I can't walk in that room. I can't spend, whatever it was, an hour and a half writing a midterm. But I did it. And then the same thing happened to me when finals came around. It's like, I can't walk into those, that huge gymnasium and sit with my peers and say, like, this is an exam I may or may not fail. I just couldn't do it. But when the time came, I thought to myself, my brain will thank me for this after. Even though it doesn't understand it right now, it can't process it. I have to go through it. I have to finish it. And that's that. Like, that's just how it'll be. So fast forward 3 years, I'm in my third year now. Exams, still not the easiest, but you get through it. And every single time you do it, it gets easier. It's just, I wish there was a better way to put it, but it's life. Like, it's just stuff you gotta do. Of course, this is all personal experience, but if you are in need of help, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask your peers. I know I had to rely on my peers a lot, especially in high school, getting ready for exams and whatnot. I had to ask for notes all the time, consistently. I had to ask for help because I wasn't in class, so I wasn't able to ask the teacher if I didn't understand something, so I had to ask my friends. Like if I were talking to myself 4 years ago, I would tell younger me, like, yeah, it's gonna suck for the next 4 months. It's gonna suck for a long time, but it's worth it. You get so many experiences, and you get to keep going through life. Like there's few better things in the world than to be able to go through life. You may be in a spot that you feel like it's never going to end. You're struggling with an injury. You're struggling with mental health. You're struggling with something. Everyone's struggling with something. But it does get better. It always gets better. I genuinely would just tell myself, it does get better. And I know that's really cliche, but it is the truth. Yeah.